Hey everybody, my name is Mark Comfort. I'm the owner of Cruise Holidays and Comfort Tours and Travel, and I've got a really exciting webinar to go over with you right now because it will be an itinerary on a river cruise round trip out of Paris in June of 2024, and we will have a chance to be in Normandy for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. It took me a long time. I've worked on this a long time, actually about 2.5, 3 years, to be able to get the space. Now, the problem is I did not get the exact time of June 6th. I got the cruise June 8th through the 15th. So those of you that want to be on in Normandy on the exact date, June 6th of 2024 for the 80th anniversary, which I want to, we will be doing a pre-package out of Paris for that. And I'll get into this in just a minute. By the way, why I'm so excited about this is I had a chance to go to Normandy for the 74th anniversary of D-Day. And I will tell you, I guess that was 6 years ago. And I will tell you, I don't know if I've ever felt more patriotic in my entire life. I don't know if I learned more about that critical battle there that was on the 5 beaches, not just the one beach. You know, there were 5 assault beaches. Omaha and Juneau were the 2 beaches that the Americans, that Eisenhower assigned to America and American troops. The Golden Sword beaches were what the English and the Allies were assigned to assault. And then the, I guess it was Juneau or Utah, I can't remember which, was the beach that the Canadians went to and were assigned to assault. So we'll go over all this. This is so exciting, so exciting. I hope you'll be able to go with us on the pre-package to get to be there in Normandy on the exact day of June 6th. But then when we go on the cruise June 8th through the 15th, we'll go back to Normandy again when it will be a few days after that exact anniversary day of June 6th. So let's go through this right now. First of all, we're using the river cruise line that I like the best and use for most of my groups, and that's AMA Waterways. I do probably 3 to 4 hosted groups a year. I use AMA Waterways on every one I can, and we here at Cruise Holidays Kansas City are the 5th leading customer in the world for AMA Waterways. So we've got a lot of clout with them. We've got all the relationships, buying power, etc. Now I did what's called a partial charter, so I've got a special value for you on this. So let's go through everything. Again, like I told you, the highlight without question will be when we are in Normandy, going to the American cemetery there in Normandy. Just so incredibly touching. I think there's 9,387 graves there. I was there just 2 years ago, and we actually did, one of the people in our group had a relative that was buried there, and they did a private ceremony for that client of ours, and I had a chance to, she invited me to go with her, and it was just so doggone touching. So this will be a highlight, no doubt about it, followed by going to the landing beaches, and we'll go to several of the landing beaches. I hope we'll be able to go to all 5, but a lot of that is right now dependent on traffic and the ability to get there in the time we have. We'll go to Omaha Beach, but I want you to look at this. This is just a little south. This is an area called Point du Hoc, and you can see the challenges that were presented to the American troops in getting up the cliffs to get into the German bunkers. Here you see the artillery battery that was left. I mean, think about it, look at this. And it's like this all over. You'll see all of these artillery battery areas there like this. It's pretty incredible. The village of Arromanches, this is kind of where the headquarters of all of the events and parades will be. And that's right in the middle of the 5 beaches. You see right off the, in fact, they've got a museum there that we'll go to that was just fascinating because it shows where all these beaches are, and it talks about how the operation that Eisenhower and Churchill and the rest of the leaders put together to attack the Germans. Okay, and then when that is done and we get on the river cruise experience on the Seine River. It's just a very, very historic river again. And this river runs north from Paris up to the English Channel and North Sea. One of the things I like so very well, many of you may have been on river cruises, but maybe you haven't been. The people love river cruising. There's a 97% satisfaction rating for all river cruise lines. So it's the highest level of satisfaction of any kind of vacation. I bet if you haven't been, you've probably heard people that have done river cruises and just love it. I know I do. It's become my favorite way to vacation. I know it will be yours too. What I wanted you to see here is that these personalized small groups of tours, they call them guided excursions, I call them tours. But what AMA does so very well, they have great guides that speak English very well. You have an audio box that you put around you and into your ears, and there's a speaker adjustment, and the guide speaks into a speaker and you hear everything he or she is saying no matter where you are in the group. Now they have all sorts of groups, by the way, and the tours are all included. So you can pick from historic tours, you can pick from cultural or culinary tours or scenic tours, or candidly a combination of those, which will be the most popular. And then they do have a late risers group tour that goes out a little later if you want to sleep in. And they have what I love is a gentle walkers cruise. And that's for people that have slowed down for whatever reason over the years and want to just go at a little bit slower pace. Okay, so AMA Waterways has something for everybody. And on the ship, they do all sorts of things. There's a fitness center. They'll have stretching and yoga and walks and anything you want to take part in or not. In this case, I love some of the fun things they do. A lot of times they'll have yoga with champagne or yoga stretching with chocolate and champagne. And there is a pool on board too, so we'll talk about that. One of the things AMA excels in is their dining, the culinary aspect of their experience. And they have been voted as the best culinary experience, best quality of food of all river cruises in the world. They're the only ones that have ever received this Champ des Rôtissiers, the oldest and most prestigious association of restaurants as far as food quality. And AMA Waterways has earned that. So that's a fabulous thing. Okay. And then they have a very special restaurant called the Chef's Table. And I will get you and the whole group. We will dine in the Chef's Table as a group together. Okay, we'll take care of that here at Cruise Holidays. And I think you heard me say I will be hosting this trip, as well as Rob and Camellia Barman, who represent the bank. They will be there too. And it's just such a great opportunity to get to know each other and share memories together that will last a lifetime. And I promise you that will happen on this experience. I bet you'll make some new friends that you didn't know even before we left. That's one of the best things about doing these group type vacations with like-minded people. And a once in a lifetime vacation it is. Okay, here's a great picture of this is so typical of the Seine River, where we'll be going with the cliffs and the hills, and in June it'll be lush green like this. And you see these quaint little villages on the sides of the Seine River. Absolutely so fabulous and absolutely historic. For example, Chateau Galliard is where Richard the Lionhearted was imprisoned for about a year before his mom paid ransom to get him out of there. Okay, we go to the quaint little, this is not really a beach town, but it's off the river and off the ocean a little bit. Beautiful, beautiful, quaint little place called Honfleur. Just love this place. Even had a carousel, and this is fun. You will really like this. Rouen is the biggest city outside of Paris that we will go to on this particular experience. You see the great big cathedral there in Rouen, but also this is where Joan of Arc was burned at the stake. So there's so much history. This clock, oh my gosh, I can't remember exactly. I think this clock is almost 600 years old. It has a beautiful old city, old medieval part of the city that's just so historic. And here, great example of that Bavarian or Swiss German type look that is just so wonderful. And the guides will take us through to show us the history and teach us what we want to see. And there'll be a little free time. So if you want to go back and shop or go back and go to some of the museums that are so good. They have a Joan of Arc museum that is really great. This particular place I did not go to last time. It's new on the itinerary, but every itinerary, every stop that AMA Waterways has something very, very much worth seeing. Okay, one of the highlights, we'll stop in a quaint little place called Vernon. And Vernon is the home of Giverny, where Monet had his home and his gardens. And this, again, after Normandy, this will be, I believe, the second highlight, biggest highlight you will have. It's just fascinating. If you know anything about Monet, when he painted the lily pads and the pond and a lot of the flowers that he did, it was from his gardens right here in Giverny. I mean, it's just breathtakingly beautiful. And I think we'll be at a perfect time to see the flowers, trees, everything in full bloom. Another thing, if you're a history lover and you want to do the Chateau de Bizet, I just had a big corporate group go and we did a private dinner in this chateau. It was so fabulous. So the chateaus that Napoleon and many of the kings of France and queens had built over the years. You'll see a lot of them on this trip. And of course, Paris is Paris, and Paris is, you could go to Paris, I think, 100 times and enjoy it even more every time you went there. Our ship docks very close to the Eiffel Tower. And one of the things AMA Waterways does that I just love, they call it an illumination cruise. They will do this at night, and we will cruise right in front of the Eiffel Tower on the Seine River, where we get to see the light show that goes on at night on the Eiffel Tower. And during our free time, if you want to take time to go to the Eiffel Tower, to go up to the top, or to even eat at the Eiffel Tower, you most certainly can do that. And then AMA has several tours set up for us that will be uniquely different than the tour I have set up for those of us that are going to go early up to Normandy, to be in Normandy on June 6th. So we'll go over that in just a second. But all these incredible museums and buildings and history, Paris, my gosh, maybe it's the most historic and culturally enriched city in the entire world. And going together as a group is a big deal. Again, more of the chateaus. The French, as you know, were so big into the kings wanted to have their chateaus. And most of the chateaus are within 100 miles of Paris. Now, we've got 15 cabins, staterooms set up for the bank. And the ship, as you will notice, is a very small ship. There's only 3 levels. There's, I think, 104 person capacity, which is 52 staterooms. I bought 15 rooms, and we have them in what's called the category A, which is the highest. In the blue, you see up on the violin deck, we have the French balcony, which is the green. We have some of those up on the violin deck and some on the cello deck. Category C, if you look at that, that's the purple in the very aft of the ship, both on the violin and the cello deck, which is the top deck of the deck down. And then category D in the lowest deck, the piano deck, is the orange cabins there. Now the price from $4,540 up to $5,620 per person includes the cruise. It includes all the tours. It includes your food. It includes wine and beer at dinner and lunch, not spirits. Insurance and airfare are additional. We will help the group and you individually with air based on whether you're going to do the prepackage or not. And and this is based, by the way, on double occupancy. So those are per person rates. $850 deposit is due by June 1st. Okay, 30%. And by the way, this trip is in 2024. Let me just make sure that's understood. But so June 1st, we need to have the $850 per person deposit. By the way, we need that by check or cash. Do checks, please, or you can work with the bank on that. And why that is because I negotiated a discount with AMA to take these 15 cabins, and they dictated how it is to be paid. So they didn't want to they gave me the discount, but didn't want to pay the merchant fee. So anyway, with that said, then 30% of the total balance, total of the price is due November 27th, and the balance 30% is due January 26th, okay? With the final payments February 23rd. And the payments are non-refundable. So be sure you want to go. Now, I can transfer. So if something happens, you want to have travel insurance, by the way. So if something happens medically and you can't go, the travel insurance will take care of it. But if we have a waiting list, which we will take, it can be transferred in case you have to cancel. Okay. This is our group department. You can get a hold of the bank, your representative at the bank, perfectly fine. They can help you with this, or you can contact us. In fact, your bank representative will probably give you our email address and our phone number, and we can answer any questions that you might have. As you see, the phone number local here in Kansas City is 816 area code 505-1500, or you go to groups at chkc.travel. CH just stands for Cruise Holidays, KC for Kansas City. Okay, your representative will have this. We will also make sure you get these registration forms. And remember, with your deposit, we can go ahead and assign you a stateroom as soon as we here at Cruise Holidays get your deposit. We can assign you the exact stateroom. And by the way, we have people all the time ask, is it better to be on the top deck, middle deck, lower deck? I think without a doubt that the top deck is always best, and that's why they're the most expensive up on the violin deck. And the middle deck, perfectly fine too. The stateroom sizes are the same unless you get a suite. They wouldn't give me any suites in our allotment, so I don't know if any suites are available. We can check if that's what you want. But the top deck is what's most desirable, and that's what is what they charge more for it. In the middle deck, stateroom sizes are the same, so it just you have to go up an extra flight of stairs. On the top deck, the violin deck, is where the lounge is. By the way, these ships are so small, you cannot get lost, and it's so easy to get around because there's a lounge on the top deck, the violin deck, and then there's the restaurant on the second deck, the cello deck. The chef's table is in the back of the ship on the violin deck, okay? And then there's a sun deck that's above the violin deck that's open air, and this time in June, the weather will be really good, so I expect during the day, especially when we're cruising, or maybe at night before dinner or after dinner, we'll spend some time up on that sun deck too, because you can see so much from a river cruise, because there's land at both sides. There's so much to see that are really just absolutely breathtaking in many cases as we cruise along the way. So the registration form will ask you your personal information. By the way, we have to have it as it will appear on your passport, meaning your legal names, birth names, okay, as it is on your passport. Then if you have a nickname, let us know. We need to know your date of birth, your email address, all of that, address to mail things to you, what room category you're interested in, any special requests. For example, if you've got gluten intolerant or celiac, something like that, some sort of special diet that is important to you that we need to let the ship know ahead of time. If you wear a CPAP machine, anything like that, and you want distilled water in your cabin, we can do that. If you need help with airfare, yes or no, we can help you with that too. Okay? And then we need to know yes or no, do you want the prepackage or not? Now let's talk about that prepackage. We will leave the United States on June 4th. And again, I'll be doing this for sure. And I got a feeling most everybody will too. We will arrive, because we fly red eye, we arrive into Paris on June 5th. We will have transfers that will pick us up at the airport and bring us to the hotel we're staying. And then that night we will have a welcome dinner. And I will be there, of course, to go over the itinerary again and remind you what time we're leaving the next morning. Okay. And we've got some great 4-star properties that we're choosing from right now. When we get the number of people going, we'll send the money in, and then we'll have one of those fabulous properties confirmed. Okay. Now, June 6th, this will be a good long day, but it'll be one of the highlights, honestly, probably of your life, where we drive up from Paris to Normandy in our own private coach with our own private guides. And we have admissions into the D-Day Museum. We have a lunch at a local restaurant. And by the way, if the weather is really, really good, which I'm praying it will be, I've been there before when it's just fabulous. Last time I went there, we had a picnic out at Pointe du Hoc. And it was special. It was absolutely special. And then we'll go to there it is, Pointe du Hoc and the Omaha Beach Museum. And of course, we will visit the American Cemetery and also to its Visitor Center Museum. It will be a highlight. It will be an absolute highlight. You will just be so impressed. And this will probably be the last time we'll get to see many, if any, of the soldiers that actually landed on the beach that day. There are still, many, honestly, that are still living there in their 90s, early 90s, late 80s, if they were really young when they went there, but mid 90s perhaps too. But last time we were there at the 74th anniversary, there were dozens and dozens of those soldiers there in uniform. It was really cool. So then we'll head back that night to our hotel. So we'll stay in the hotel all 3 nights. We'll meet in the morning, but that'll be at your leisure, lunch on your own. And we'll do that so people can sleep in if they want to a little bit, or go walk. Walking the streets of Paris is just a great thing. Stopping at a bistro or cafe for a cappuccino or something, or croissant. The French make the best croissants and pastries in the world, I think. So we'll have that morning. And then we will head out in the afternoon, right after the lunchtime, 1:30-ish probably, for the Palace of Versailles. And I don't know, I've been there twice, and I'd be more excited to go there a third time. It is truly one of the palaces of all palaces of the world. Matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but the Hermitage Palace or the Schönbrunn Palace, those are the 3 biggest palaces in the world. They were all, the other 2, Hermitage and Schönbrunn, were copied after the Palace of Versailles. Don't know if you know this, but you'll find this out. A lot of how we designed our capital in Washington, D.C. was taken off of the Palace of Versailles. Wait till you see this. And then we'll go through the Hall of Mirrors in here, which is spectacular, maybe next to the Sistine Chapel. Absolutely spectacular. And the gardens. Oh, if we get good weather, the gardens are tremendous, just tremendous. Then we'll return to Paris that evening, get back around, depending traffic, 5:30, 6 o'clock, have dinner on our own. And then the next day, we'll have breakfast. It's all included in the morning, and we'll have some leisure time. And then we'll have a private coach take us to the ship, which is good. And we'll let you know while we're there. And we'll do a panoramic trip on the way to see all these spectacular places that hopefully we'll have time to see on our own too. We'll have lunch at a local restaurant because we can't get on the ship, or we can get on the ship, but the rooms won't be ready till about 3 o'clock. Okay, so we'll have lunch set up for our group, and then we will get on board the Amadante. Okay, and I got to tell you, it's, I've done this river twice, but going and being in Normandy on the anniversary, like I did on the 74th anniversary, is why I wanted to go back, and why we're inviting you. Rob and Camelia agree they want to go see that. see Normandy on an actual anniversary day. And then what's going to be cool, we're going to come back around and get to see it on another day, which will be, I think, what did I tell you? It'd be something like June 10th or 11th, where all the, it'll be much more, less festive, let's put it that way. And it'll be packed. I want to tell you on June 6th, it'll be packed. On June 10th or 11th, it won't be nearly as packed. Okay. So there's so much. This is just an experience of a lifetime. And then, by the way, if you want to extend your trip after the cruise or before the river cruise, you know, we can do that for you too. A lot of people do longer customized trips because air costs, you know, quite a bit of money. And candidly, if you want to stay longer, you sure can. We can help you with that. But I'm inviting you. I know Rob and Camelia are inviting you to. This will be a trip of a lifetime. Small group, small intimate group with 30 people. We'll have 30% of the ship, right? So that makes it nice, and you'll meet a lot of great people. The cruise managers on AMA Waterways are always fabulous. I know several of the cruise managers. I've actually asked for my favorite cruise manager for this trip, since I'll be with you. Whether we get that person or not, I will find out. The other thing I wanted to tell you, about 85% of your overall costs will be included with the price of this cruise, outside that airfare and the travel insurance. So there will be some costs that will be spirits on board the ship, or if you want wine later at night or whatever, there's a cost for that. There's a massage therapist, and I think they will have a salon to get your hair done, I believe, and that will be at a cost too. And then any souvenirs or things like that that you buy. But for the most part, 85 to 90% of the trip is paid in advance with the cost of the river cruise. Okay, so you'll have questions. We're here to answer those questions. I just say the sooner you sign up, the better, because I got a feeling this will be a sellout, and it'll be a sellout really, really fast. So thank you, everybody. Again, my name is Mark Comfort. My wife Mimi and I own Cruise Holidays and Comfort Tours here in Kansas City, going into our 35th year. And Rob and Camelia are who we bank with. So glad to have you. This is going to be an experience that will create some lifetime memories for you, and invite friends and family to join you. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye.